Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. Today we are doing a featured player of the week. This is my segment. Shout out to my boy B Foster. He inspired me to do a series like this. You can check us out at Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that. And you can follow us on all the podcast aggregators. Those are platforms like YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcast for your audio fixes. Just follow us at Bleachers and Speakers FFSN on those platforms. Type search, search for that and make sure you hit that notification bell so when we drop content, especially content like this, you'll get a notification and make sure you download those episodes. Now, without further ado, I'd like to go into this featured player profile, old school what, the old school way. I mean, I'm not comparing this athlete in particular to anyone, but I will say the Lions have had a history of drafting a game breaker at wide receiver, going over a span of years since I've been watching them. And before there was a Megatron, and before there was a St. Brown, uh, there was certainly this man who I'm about to talk to, Mr. Herman Moore. He was one of the best wide receivers in the game when he played. At one point, well, I'll get into his statistics in a minute, but from me as a young pup watching this guy, he was amazing for the time he was there. And he didn't have a Matt Stafford, he didn't have a Jared Goff, but this guy put up numbers. Uh, First of all, he was drafted. His first rookie year was 1991. He was drafted out of Virginia. I can't remember which pick he was. I should have did more homework, but I know he's a first round pick. Um, and his career stats goes as 670 total receptions, 9,174 receiving yards, 62 touchdowns, and he played 146 games. Four-time Pro Bowler, three-time first-team All-Pro, and he at one point he held the the record for the most receptions in a season, with that being 123, and that was in 1995. And it was broken 7 years later by Marvin Harrison, and he is inducted into the Detroit Lions Ring of Honor. One thing about this wide receiver, his he had reliable hands. He wasn't a blazer, so to speak, but he was very athletic. Uh, catch catch passes in traffic, catch plays. Uh, you throw it up there. Him being 6'4", he's going to go up there and get it. Uh, Run good routes, so he was open a lot. For someone that didn't have blazing speed, he was open downfield a lot. So, and he caught a lot of passes in traffic. He was everything you wanted in a wide receiver. He was a possession receiver. He was a deep threat. He'd go over the middle. Him being a big body receiver at 6'4", he did a lot of things for the Lions. And like I said, before there was ever a Megatron, before there was ever a St. Brown, there was this guy. This guy was one of them ones, and I'm telling you, he was a joy to watch. Um, I'm mad because I had it memorized as far as um, when he was drafted in which round, but I know he was a top pick. He was one of those ones that he didn't play anywhere else, and that's a great thing. It's not a knock on anyone else, but he was drafted by the Lions and he retired the Lions, and he's still in the Detroit community today. He's still a supporter. He's still you can see him on camera at the games. But this guy was one of those ones. Great receiver. I played Madden back in the day, and he was definitely. I always would make a trade to get Herman Moore on my team because he was one of those ones that was ranked in the 90s as far as wide receivers. So that'll do it for this feature profile player. Shout out to my co-host B Foster. I'm going to get with him sometime today. We're going to do some work today. I think we're going to do some work today. Um, Yeah, we got to get over this Lions blues. We, of course, after a loss, it's always, you want to step away from sports, but as a blogger, you can't stay away from that stuff. You gotta keep going, man. Losses happen, seasons end, but we still got to keep on going. So make sure you subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.